So it's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is Friday, the 20th of March, AD 2026. I'm wearing a Jesse Lee Peterson, The Amazing Tar Baby t-shirt. It's orange. Orange. Nice. Hopefully it's not. Well, anyway, thank you to Lock Your Door, who made the original design, and to Anchor Baby, who made this particular design for the t-shirt. Very nice work, y'all, both of you. Lock Your Door and Anchor Baby. Looks like I'm live on multiple platforms. What's up, Cloud Pops? Faithful viewer, supporter, Random Helldiver, Odin, Kill the Ego, Random, I already said that, Everblazer, M. Medrano, and elsewhere on the YouTube channel. Here, wow, would you look at that? Is that at the beach? Here, let me move this out of the way. No, I can't do it. I can't do it. We'll do it live. Forget it. Here, hold on. Complicated business, y'all. Yeah, it looks like it's at the beach or something. We're looking at a desktop of this computer that I'm showing, and I don't know if that's limestone or some type of stone that's easily able to be eroded into cool shapes and holes and caves inside of this small cave-like things. Nice. Anyway, you can check out the Hake Report if you ever so please. TheHakeReport.com. I do try to keep it updated. And let me turn down myself. Well, turn it to there. And check out the fan-funding Jesse Lee Peterson rated the stream. That's how some of you guys got here. Many of you, most of you maybe. Thank you for the support. If you decide to support, we're going to get going here. I like to show some footage from the beach or wherever I may go, wherever I may roam. And I will be looking out for your coffees on buymeacoffee.com/thehake report. I see one from Eric, Mike. You could just walk by. Seems dangerous. I don't know. Happy birthday, actually, to Kurt. Did you guys know that? I knew that, actually, but I'd forgotten. It's funny. It's right in front of your face, too. Shout out to Popcorn, Mike, Cesar or Caesar, another from Cesar or Caesar, another from Mike, Greggatron. Mike said, you trying to be slick. Yeah, you think you're so slick. I'll get to this in a second, okay? I want to shout out the Rumble crew. What is up? I can hardly see this. What is up to Jules, Brandon B., which is also known as Balls City over on... What's up, Commander Kim? Thank you all, as always, there for your Rumble rants that you sneak in, and I sometimes don't see them. Terrible. So we're live on multiple platforms, including, yes, indeed, X, and even Facebook. Ponto King is often over there on Facebook crew. But let's get going over here, right? Shall we? You can call in. You're welcome to call in. I know that there were priority callers I was not able to get to. So hopefully I don't waste too much time. Morning, Ponto King. Indeed, he is there. I'm live on punchy.tv/Hake. Let me refresh so I can see your chats. Good morning to 07. Morning to Jim in Alaska, if and when you get there. Take everything that you hear here with a grain of salt. Info may be false. No endorsement implied, even though it might sound like it, you know. But sometimes you guys are totally misinterpreting stuff, and it's true, all right? The fallen states happening after the Hake Report and then American Anchor Baby. So get excited. Get pumped. What's up, man from Red Earth? Good to see you, sir. Looks like limestone. It's peaceful on X. Yeah. Let me send you guys... Ah, man. Let me send you guys the X video. Okay, let me send you guys the X video. Live on X. At least you YouTube people. And hey, what the hake? I'll send it to the Rumble crew. Is it unmuted? Yeah, we're hearing it. Okay, so I will, I plan to get to your super chats. I don't like to leave those hanging. I don't like even to leave callers hanging. So, and we'll see what I get to. Rest in peace, I must say. A good salute and rest in peace to, if he can hear me, I don't know, I don't think so. But not saying whatever. To the late, great Chuck Norris. I thought about making a Chuck Norris joke because Chuck Norris jokes are, sometimes they're funny. One time, Chuck Norris told a woman she's wrong, and she thought about it and corrected her ways and admitted she was wrong. That was my favorite Chuck Norris joke. Something like that. I'm butchering it. But yes, Chuck Norris corrected a woman and she admitted she was wrong. Because Chuck Norris does like the impossible. Now, ladies do admit they're wrong sometimes, right? Just listen to the Jesse Lee Peterson show and church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Maybe even sometimes the Fallen State. And check out the counseling with Jesse Lee Peterson, or the ladies, doing the silent prayer. Nice. I'm not going into there. I'm not going into there. Sorry. All right. So, yeah, he died at the tender age of 86. Do I want to show it to you? Shall I show that to you? Here, let me pause this introduction to go to the Chuck Norris page, Instagram.com/ what is it? Hopefully this is not something bad. / Chuck Norris? Okay, indeed, yeah. So his family says, yes, it is with heavy hearts that, I guess that's Chuck Norris. I had never really seen the profile picture of him. I didn't know that his facial structure side view looked like that. But we're looking at for the audio podcast listeners, we're looking at a dark, moody, dimly lit, black and white, grayscale image photograph, I guess. Or a really finely detailed painting or AI, but probably photograph, of the late, great Chuck Norris in his slightly younger days, middle-aged, I would say, 40s, 50s, possibly even 60s, maybe even a young-looking 70s, looking up at the light, reflecting on his face faintly in its very dimly lit, dark shadows. It is with heavy hearts, says Chuck Norris on Instagram, his family, of course, that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris yesterday morning, meaning Thursday morning, the 19th of March, AD 2026, at the tender age of 76 years old. They don't mention that, but I'll say it. While we would like to keep the circumstances private, please know he was surrounded by his family and was at peace. To the world, he was a martial artist, actor, symbol of strength. Nice, at least from here. Yeah, fine. Mm-hmm. To us, he was pardon that strange interlude. He was a devoted husband, loving father and grandfather, incredible brother. Oh, yeah, he was the oldest of, I think, 3 brothers, the oldest brother. He acted like an oldest brother. And the heart of our family. He lived his life with faith, purpose. I think he was Christian, certainly fairly conservative. An unwavering commitment to the people he loved. Through his work, discipline, and kindness, he inspired millions around the world and left a lasting impact on so many lives. While our hearts are broken, we're deeply grateful for the life he lived and the unforgettable moments we blessed to share with him. It's getting boring because it's like your typical, public statement. But shout out. No hate, of course. Just observing that fact, right? We kindly ask for privacy for our family during this time. The Norris family. Thank you for loving him with us. Okay, so let me show you. Oh, here, I'll like it in case that helps, but I don't think I can help you like it. Okay, so here he is just on the 10th. Just was just a little bit ago. Just on here. Whoa.
I don't age. I level up.
Nice.
I don't age. I level up.
You guys hear him?
I don't age. I level up.
I don't age, I level up. I'm 86 today, says Chuck Norris, stated Chuck Norris, the late, great Chuck Norris. Nothing like some playful action on a sunny day, and it looked like it might be Hawaii, to make you feel young. I'm grateful for another year, good health, and a chance to keep doing what I love. Thank you all for being the best fans in the world. The support of 3 years meant more to me than you'll ever know. I'm kind of mumbling it or slurring my words or talking all fast. God bless Chuck Norris. A week ago, the 10th, and we are at the 20th, a week and a half ago. So let me just show you in quiet. See, doesn't that look like maybe Hawaii? I don't know Hawaii, but looks nice. So he was moving great. It's not like so we don't know what happened, and leave them alone and whatever. It's too late to follow him. Is it? Whatever. I wasn't following him on Instagram. I'm not busy on Instagram. So yeah, that's the news. I imagine that. Let's see if Truth Social, that real Donald Trump. Let's see if he posted anything about Chuck Norris. No. Will he say anything about Chuck Norris? Did Chuck Norris support Trump in a public way? Maybe he was kind of quiet. Maybe he was one of those normie conservatives who didn't really say anything about Trump. It's not important. Shout out. Okay, let's get going here, right? Anyway, y'all, let's just, right? Yeah, right on. Because that's what this is about, right? With the AJ Gallardo original theme song. It's Friday. It's chest day. I'm allegedly going to open the treasure chest on D-Live right now. Okay? With the chest day means I open up the treasure chest, okay? Doesn't mean that I'm going to be pumping iron. Show!
It's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys! Chuck Norris beat up Bruce Lee. Where is Bruce Lee now? In heaven with Chuck Norris, maybe. I don't know. Sweet.
The Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how y'all doing? I'm fine. You can get the amazing Tar Baby t-shirt over on JesseLeePeterson.shop. I neglected to mention. Let me give you guys, open up the chest or else I'll forget. What's up, taking care of business? Nice to see you, sir. Papa. Sweet. Hello. And let me just see. Refresh. Where's my D-Live crew? Okay, cool. There you are. It's not a sunken chest. It's a huge chest. What's up, Aries? Nice to see you. Okay, let me just see something real quick. I got a super chat from a Big Bump, Chuck Norris fan page on Instagram. Let's see here. Hey, rare video. Donald Trump meets Chuck Norris way back in the day. This looks like the this looks like the 80s or 90s or early 2000s maybe. Let me just see if I can show this to you guys. Real quick. Instagram. I don't know how to find my things. Don't look at my bookmarks, guys. How do I find my bookmarks? I'm a boomer with this stuff. What do I do, y'all? Oh, here? Hey, here it is. Rare.
Norris, my good friend from boat racing.
Come on. What the hake?
The whole gang is here. Chuck, this is your first WrestleMania. You and I had an opportunity to talk earlier. What are your impressions?
Well, they're great athletes. You know, there's no doubt about it. I've been watching it most of my life, wrestling, way back to the gorgeous George days in Argentina, Rocca, and all these guys. And they're just tremendous athletes. I've worked out with Hulk Hogan before.
Wow.
I did a movie with Professor Tanaka, so I know what great athletes these guys are.
Or two. Oh, Chuck Norris,
Nice.
my good friend from boat racing.
They shook hands here. So Trump and Chuck Norris shook hands here as Chuck Norris is being interviewed by, when we called it WWF, World Wrestling Federation. Now you young whippersnappers, you call it WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. But this was a pro wrestling event. Trump liked it, and Chuck Norris, class act, liked it. How cool is this? Says Chuck_Norris_icon. Rare video of Donald Trump and Chuck Norris meeting each other in the late 80s, early 90s at a wrestling event. And Chuck Norris had a hockey hair, which is an ape drape. You know that you guys call it a mullet. I don't like that term. And a mustache. Cool. And then that one guy who's a reporter for WWF, or was. Trump is everywhere, just like Diddy. Good guys. Well, nice. All right. So let me get to a little bit of the news that's going on over here, if you don't mind. Okay? Yeah, that's right. He did say stuff like that. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay. So Chuck met Trump. Sweet. So if we mosey on over to the HakeReport.com, we can peruse the news. I read that thing about Chuck Norris. I didn't know that according to Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, they're rolling out, and elsewhere they were talking about it. I think they were rolling out, I think I have it maybe over here too, toward the bottom of this news from Ground News. Artemis II rocket beginning its slow rollout, literally a slow rollout to launch pad ahead of the April flight date. Pretty cool. Artemis II rocket rollout. Let's see if there's any images of it or anything. I bet it's on YouTube. And they're going like 1 mile an hour. And it's going to take 12 hours. Artemis II rollout. Let's see if it's live anywhere. A far left AP is showing. What is that right now? So I guess it's already rolled out, or are they rolling it? Oh, so it's vertical. I imagined that they rolled it sideways and then they stand it up. But I guess they're rolling it vertically. Here, let's see where it was before. Interested, sort of. Yeah, I'm looking at a far left extremist, off the deep end, anti-American, but in this case, this has nothing to do with it. AP, Associated Press. I call them that because they believe racism is real, which is a communist thing to believe. It's a lie. And they, oh, look, dawn, or what is this? What is the time between dawn? Yeah, I guess it's dawn, right? Dawn before, where it gets light before the sun comes up? Before the sun actually rises? I think that's dawn. And dusk or twilight is when it's still light even after the sun has set. It's called twilight or dusk. And there's a period of time before it gets actually full-blown dark. Cool. Nice. Artemis II. They're going to go to the moon. Why would they do all this just for a hoax, people? Give me a break. You guys. Shout out, you space deniers. We love you if we love anybody. No judgment. If we don't judge anybody, we don't judge you. The mission is part of the Artemis program. Is that related to SpaceX or is it unrelated to SpaceX? Don't know, don't care. We'll see what happens. So that's one item. And yeah, so they move it very slowly. So as not to shake stuff up too much unnecessarily. You know, you want the damage to happen when it's actually flying because it's meant to take some damage. So that's cool. Little news items, okay? The Amazon planning a smartphone comeback more than a decade after the Fire phone flopped. I'd forgotten that they made the Fire phone and I didn't realize that it had flopped. Amazon developing a new smartphone called the Transformer. Wow, I wonder if they can do that. Isn't that a violation? Jeff Bezos. Overseen by Jeff Bezos, the Fire phone. Scrapped barely over a year after its launch. Funny. Google tried to come out with a phone too, right? Do they still? I think now they are coming up with phones. They've been coming out with phones, right? Anyway, the Transformer. So it can sync with Alexa. So nice. Right on. We wish you well, American companies, even though you're kind of anti-American, globalist. Nearly 9,000 bottles of children's ibuprofen has been recalled. Kids, watch out. Parents, watch out. After contamination with a foreign substance. Strides Pharma, Inc., recalling nearly 90,000 bottles of children's ibuprofen oral suspension due to complaints of foreign substances like gel-like mass and black particles. So people had to complain. Wow. The FDA classified the recall, Food and Drug Administration, Class 2 situation. May cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences. Parents and caregivers believe a child may have been affected. They can, after taking the recalled meds, should contact a healthcare provider. So watch out. China is helping out America. China arrests 7 in a fentanyl crackdown after U.S. pressure. Nice. Thursday, Hubei province, whatever that is, part of China, right? Arrested 7 people, shut down more than 200 websites in a crackdown on fentanyl. That's that opioid that white people die of disproportionately and other people die of too, including Georgia, Florida. Well, he didn't die of it. He died with it. He also died with COVID. And he also died, I guess he died. Did he die under the knees of those officers? So he had all kinds of stuff going on. He was a mess. Rest in peace, Georgia, Florida, gone too soon. His fault. And maybe other people's fault too, but I blame him primarily. You know, you're responsible for yourself. Supposed to be, somewhat. The operation followed a December directive from China's Ministry of Public Security establishing a task force investigated 22 cases involving illicit precursor chemicals through February. Using the Drug Enforcement Agency intelligence, the investigators in Wuhan cracked a case involving state-controlled psychoactive substances and Category 2 precursor chemicals. I wonder if they're going to put them to death. Yikes. Because China doesn't mess around with drugs, I heard, from a speech that Trump had, a clip from a speech Trump had. Crackdown follows an October agreement where President Donald J. Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, I like him. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it established a 1-year truce rolling back fentanyl-related tariffs to 10%. Diplomatic engagement remained uncertain after President Trump postponed a Beijing summit over the Iran war, though Trump plans to travel to Asia in about 5 or 6 weeks. Cool, huh? That feels like good news. China looking out for America. They better, because there's Chinese people too in America, you know? I mean, and also we're all human. Supposed to look out for each other a little bit. Whatever. News. Ibuprofen. China. Oh, it's Amazon phone. Artemis II. Sorry, guys. Roll out. Okay, so that's that. That's whatever. Nice. Speaking of health, let me just do a new timestamp here. This so-called judge. I'm already taking sides, okay? I shouldn't. I disclaim. Info may be false. Judge rules the U.S. government overreached with transgender health care declaration. On Thursday, U.S. District Judge Mustafa. I'm laughing with him, not at him. It's a cool name, actually. Mustafa. This is the man. Mustafa T. Kasubai. Oh, he looks healthy. Taher, American lawyer, they call him, served as U.S. District Judge of the United States District of Oregon since 2024, 56 years old. Nationality American. What a mess. Is he champion for equality and access to justice per University of Oregon student of law? So you know he's a communist. You know, look at him. He's biased. Oregon. JD, meaning Juris Doctorate in 1996, I guess, confirmed to federal bench. And when was this? Was this Obama years? Was it Biden? They don't have a date on it because a lot of times blog posts are inferior. Appointed by Biden, which is to say Obama. Okay, so this guy, what did he do? What did he do? He will vacate a late last year declaration by HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. based RFK on gender-affirming care. What a sleazy, slimy, communist euphemism for, or evil euphemism, lying euphemism, right? For communism is just human nature. For confusing people. With siding with plaintiffs, a coalition of 19 states and D.C., District of Columbia. If D.C. is involved, sued in December, then you know it's bad. And Kasubai will consider halting the declaration, which threatened providers with Medicare and Medicaid exclusion. Court records show, so let's say if you're a provider, healthcare provider, so-called, we're going to exclude you if you do gender-affirming care. Court records show procedural rulings, including the denial of defendant's motion to dismiss, and at least 17 hospitals have been referred to HHS's Office of Inspector General. Whatever, I don't care. They will consider the state's request to stop implementation as the declaration warned doctors they could be excluded from Medicare and Medicaid, risking major financial impact on health institutions. So federal money, and this is part of what Trump wants to roll back, because federal money should not be going to, which is, I think, Medicare and Medicaid, maybe, I don't know, should not be going to people. Federal money should not be going to people for their health care. This ruling follows subsidized health care. So evil, you know? The ruling, which only increases the costs, the prices. The ruling follows another court setback Monday in Boston, with HHS relying on a peer-reviewed report earlier this year that drew sharp criticism from major medical groups. And I forget what that one was, but I feel like I might have seen something to that effect. Now, that's ground news, ground insights by ground AI. Info may be false, okay? But they're pushing the transgender agenda. What is it? Isn't that overreach by a judge? You know, wouldn't you think that's overreach? I shake my head. Mess. One nice thing, though, Mullin has been advanced out of the Senate committee. There's a it goes to a Senate little committee. They have a committee thing. Rand Paul was involved, and he didn't like this Mark Mullin guy. I think I told you about that maybe. They voted 8-7 to advance Senator Markwayne Mullin for the Department of Homeland Security. Nice. Hey, shout out. I like it. Let me not lose my place here. So he may become the next DHS secretary. Fetterman broke with the Democrats. John Fetterman. More I hear about that guy, the more I like him. I know I made fun of him because he was kind of like his wife was kind of running the show, but I think he's free of that wife now. Or something. I don't know. His wife is... I started to say crazy, but I don't want to say crazy. But I think they had some falling out or something. But he's been, as Democrats go, he's been a sensible Democrat, if there is such a thing. So that's cool. Judge for trans care against HHS RFK. Thursday, Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee advanced that guy, Markwayne Mullin, because Trump is replacing Kristi Noem, which hopefully this is a good replacement. Now, a lot of these, I hold back because a lot of these guys who look manly are not manly. You know, we've had real bad people, generals. Trump appointed a bunch of generals, manly-looking men, and then they turn out to be backstabbers and betas. Mark Kelly, James Mad Dog Mattis, a bunch of these guys. I started to say scum of the earth, but kids, let's try not name calling all the time. Senator Rand Paul pressed his fellow Republican, Markwayne Mullin, about past confrontations, saying, I think there are anger issues. Markwayne Mullin. That might be a valid concern, Rand Paul. That might be a valid concern. I don't know. I have no idea what type of person Markwayne Mullin really is. Oh, he's part American Indian? He would be the first Native American. Lord, we are all Native Americans if we're born here. Shout out to the American Indians. And some of you do prefer to be called Native Americans, but I don't like that. American Indians. And I know that Indian is confusing because up in Canada they have India Indians, and so it's a big mess. So we'll see what happens. Advocates are urging him to meet with tribal leaders and improve ICE training on tribal IDs. Oh, Lord. I mean, that part is okay, I guess. You know, you don't want to get confused on an American Indian and deport an American Indian by accident. Because American Indians they're supposed to be in America. You know, that's fine. But meet with tribal... This is what... Actually, I was talking with a guy from a co-host of Punchy TV, actually the current host of Punchy TV right now, about you guys talking about, and then I'll get to your super chats. You can call in. We'll get to your calls, 888-775-3773. But I was talking with a guy, Bill, the engineer, about... Marco Rubio, he's Cuban. That's a concern. Because as you guys are concerned about that guy who was trying to run for president, now he's trying to run for governor of Ohio or something, I don't know. But that guy with the India name, and he seemed based to some of you guys. Marco Rubio he's Cuban, and will his Cubanity influence, or that is also Hispanic or Latino, and will his Latino-ness influence him, or has he overcome that identity with that Latino-ness to some extent to where he can be fair to all and not have these biases and not believe in the racism thing against white people? Because so many non-whites fall extra hard, and even whites fall extra hard sometimes. Usually not the normal ones, but the normal ones too fall for it to an extent, as you know. They call it white guilt for the false thing called racism, which is one of my callers said just means a proud white man. And we've had a proud black man who thinks racism exists, but he doesn't think he's racist. Which I know that it doesn't. It's a fake misdiagnosis of a situation. But they think it's a bad thing, and some people think it's a good thing, and it's not even a thing. It's not even real. And so would Marco Rubio, were he to become the next in line for the president, not that I'm really even thinking ahead, but people have been thinking ahead and trying to get me to talk about it, and now I'm talking about it. Marco Rubio, would he be for America, all Americans, or would he be not as bad as Obama, but kind of like an Obama, where Obama was not for all Americans. He was into the black thing. He was sympathetic to the Muslim thing. He was sympathetic to the atheist and LGBTIQ thing. He was a hoity-toity product of his environment. What a mess, huh? Will he overcome? Don't know. I didn't know that he's Native American. Markwayne Mullin. Huh. So that's a little bit of the news. I want to get to some of your super chats. I'm already 35 minutes in. Nice. You are welcome to call in 888-775-3773. Hang tight, callers. I just want to get to all of y'all's stuff, because I do not like leaving the super chatters hanging. Okay? So over here. At this point, just call me Mike. States. You think you're so slick, Hake. Apparently, he calls Trump daddy. Crooked face emoji. And that's because he thinks that I'm... Okay, well, let me just finish his super chat. You, sir, are the one who glazed him. Is that a bad thing to say glazed? Or is it like a good thing to put glitter on him? Or is it like an okay glaze? Glazing somebody. Is that vulgar? Let's ask. Glazing is primarily Gen Z slang for over-complimenting. Kissing up to, they say sucking up to. But I like kissing up because it's kind of better. I don't know anyway. Or hyping someone to an embarrassing degree. While mostly used to call out fake adoration or excessive bias, the term did originate from a vulgar S-word explicit metaphor referencing something, don't read that, kids, before becoming mainstream. Well, I'm going to say glazing like a donut. You know how glazed donuts are like shiny? Made him shiny. Hey, well, thank you guys, you super chatters. Made Trump put a nice shiny sheen on him by way of sugar, not body stuff. Every chance you get, I can't believe you people follow a man quoting black JLP with dark black JLP. Whoa, remember that? If I got the chance to call today, you better be ready for the power of my infinite knowledge and wisdom. Lightning emoji. No, man, I never called him daddy, though. And I did not compliment him to any kind of embarrassing degree or kiss up to him. I just acknowledge his greatness. He is a great man. Objectively great man. In the same way, and maybe even more so than Stalin. You know how our future president... Oh, I'm used to looking at the wrong lines. Okay, hang on, callers. Anyway, so no, I'm not... it's not to an embarrassing degree or anything. It's my compliments of Trump are quite measured. They are objective, sir. You're the one who's projecting daddiness on me, but that's because you think of him as that. Yeah, I am trying to be, I do think I'm so slick. Mike, Okay, so coffees, Mike on Trump. Let's say, okay, I don't want to say glazing. I don't want to say, I'll type it. All right. I looked it up, so whatever. Okay, nice. Mike says, the hate over LeBron is justified, says Mike. He's a weak mama spirit, man. Always, I know, but just cut him some slack, you know? There's never justification for hate, Mike. But anyway, he continues. He act like he can read, but he's always pictured looking at the first page of whatever books he quote-unquote reads. That's not justified, Mike. He said, Mike, not Bike. He said that his favorite movie is The Godfather, which I haven't seen. And I might see it, Popcorn and Ronnie. But Popcorn, I think he has my number. Meaning that, not that he literally has my phone number or anything, or the day that I'm going to die or anything like that. But he knows, you know, you guys know me sometimes better than I realize, or than I know myself. Because I can look in a mirror, but I don't really see myself. And seeing somebody is different from the person looking in the mirror. Anyway, seeing his favorite movie is Godfather. When confronted about it, he can't even remember his favorite scene. He claims that he created the concept of deluxe albums. Really? I never heard this one. You know too much about him. He always messes up the lyrics of songs, but that's JLP too. He's just black. I can go on and on. My GOAT, greatest of all time, could never do that. My GOAT, greatest of all time, is that like a daddy? Don't take no mess. He's a real man. He have 6 championships rings, and he don't care about homeless people. Everybody want to be like him. I want to be like Mike. The greatest ever to do it, Michael Jordan. Your namesake, were you named after Air Jordan, sir? Did you used to steal, like people steal Air Jordan, certain teams? There he is. There's some footage. Hey, the greatest. Am I going to get copy strike on this? NBA top 10. Boom. Alley-oop from the free throw. Nice. Hey. Got to be quick. Wow, behind the back. Nice. Yo, he hit it. Kobe. I bet he was like, Kobe. Kidding. Yeah. So I do speed it up.
Here's a pass stolen by Jordan. It's a 3-on-2 for the Bulls. Rifle on the drive, in for the right.
And he goes in. You can't stop him. You can't stop him.
Oh, man. Kelly Tripucka couldn't run out of the
There,
play
where's
quick
the,
enough. Jordan was
get out the way.
from the sky.
I can do 3-point. Oh, that's too fast. I can't even see what's going on. Nice. Hey, that was smooth. Hey. I don't know what he just did. Good pass. Hey, nice spin. Cool. Awesome. Just call me Anchor, baby. Hey, cool. I don't know what he did. Sweet. 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 Basket. Underneath basket. And you know what's nice is Jordan is still alive and nice. Thank you for sharing. Let me just turn that back down to normal speed. I'm a boomer over here. Playback speed one time. Well, thank you, sir. Mike. Thank you, sir. Read this slow, Hake, and then I'll get to your calls. And then I'll get to more of your super chats. But coffee, Greggatron. I really like Alan's calls. He's so polite and classy and respectful. When he's on the phone, I picture an old gentleman, OG. I used to think OG was original gangster or gangsta, but it's better known as old gentleman. Sitting in a rocking chair in his library by the fireplace, the old man has one leg crossed. He wears his house shoes, also known as slippers, with the good dress socks. The old man, let me slow down again. I forgot to go slow. The old man scrolls through the good notebook while listening to the good program, while sitting in the good rocking chair by the fireplace in the library. What do you think? Hake, do you like my poetry? It could be a children's book. Nice, Greggatron. Yeah. I think you would write a better children's book than that one woman who allegedly killed her husband or something. Hopefully. And maybe even better than that guy who will see Charlie Kirk in Valhalla. Valhalla! The guy, the FBI guy, Kash Patel. Although Kash Patel is talented, of course. That's how he got so high in office. Thank you, Greggatron. Appreciate it, sir. On Alan. Picturing Alan. Let me get to Mark in Los Angeles, California over here. Mark, how you doing, sir?
Real good. I just want to get started by answering your question about Joe Kent. If I was Joe Kent, I would have quit too. Yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, by the way, before, I want to not forget to say this. I hope Zenny's listening.
Okay.
Zenny was right yesterday. You were wrong all the way around. Zenny was right, and I have gotten off the Trump train. I don't support Trump. He's a lackey of the Jews. It's obvious now. And the more I hear about him, the worse it gets. MAGA is now headed by Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Lindsey Graham. Those are the people that are running MAGA now. The real American firsters are Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Nick Fuentes. And for you to say you support Nick after the garbage that you spewed yesterday, I don't think Nick would want your support.
I don't care. I support him anyway.
Well, that's fine. If you want to be,
and so you're assuming that Nick wouldn't want. Would he reject me for supporting him or something? Are you trying to like
sure
picture? What do you mean he wouldn't want my support?
He would take your money and he would take your vote, but your influence goes nowhere. And by the way, I want you to know, Alan Dershowitz, a friend of yours, I would imagine, because he's pro-Israel too, he just wrote a scathing criticism of Joe Kent. He called him a Nazi, an Israel hater, a Jew hater, and he's glad that Trump fired him. That's your side speaking.
Oh, did he say that Trump fired him? I thought he resigned.
Well, he resigned, but I'm just telling you what Dershowitz wrote.
Wow, so Dershowitz is saying that Trump fired him.
Well,
according to you.
You got to read his Facebook. I think it was on Facebook. I can't give your competitor's name who posted it, but in the posting,
well, you just gave a whole bunch of my competitors already, including embarrassingly. You really embarrassed yourself by mentioning Candace Owens. That's ridiculous.
Well, I agree with her on the Jewish question.
That doesn't mean that she's somebody to follow. That's ridiculous. You called her a leader.
Well, I don't follow her.
You called her a leader, didn't you? Or what did you call her?
I do support her over Trump. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's silly.
Because on the Jewish question, she's 100% right on. You're 100% with Satan. Nothing personal.
Right.
But when you support a criminal state like Israel, whose roots Judaism goes to Satan himself, then that tells me about you. And I don't know why you would bother supporting Nick.
Why wouldn't I?
Because he hates you. Because he hates everything you said. If he was listening yesterday, he would have agreed with Zenny. And
would he agree with Zenny? Would he agree with Zenny that Epstein was eating babies?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
Well, then why are you making up stuff about what he would or would not support or hate or accept or want?
Well, you want to ignore a couple of things.
Yeah.
You want to ignore the perversion of Epstein Island because you hate women. You want to ignore the Shroud of Turin because it proves that Jesus is white, and you don't want to say that because you're scared. So that's, you deny the truth. You don't really run your show right, but that's your problem. You leave the worst people on and I'm not talking about Zenny, not talking about Alan, I'm not talking about William III or Hayden, but I'm not going to name the bad guys because we all know who they are. And you're in the habit of giving them 20 to 40 minutes. And, I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming those guys whose names I won't mention. Because after they're ready to go, when they're saying, okay, that's all I got, you continue the conversation with more bullcrap. You want to keep these bad guys on as long as you can. You get some kind of pleasure out of it. Just for the audience's edification, I have been calling, but I've been left to the back of the line.
Not necessarily.
So that's why you haven't been hearing me. And that's why I've had to hang up after an hour, I give up. I mean, I'm not going to sit through Ryan using profanity and attacking the white man on a regular basis, and you say nothing. You say nothing. You allow that low IQ dope addict to say whatever he wants don't say that. Oh, please, don't say that. But if I say something about one of your competitors, you want to hang up on me. It's called white guilt. And on his end, it's black privilege. You've acknowledged that white guilt exists. You said yesterday Bush suffers from it because he won't criticize Obama. Yeah. I agree.
That's my speculation. I don't know it for a fact, but that's my speculation. He's the fake.
And I think Judge Roberts, the scoundrel, the head of the Supreme Court.
John Roberts.
Yep. He's the one. The reason they didn't find Obamacare unconstitutional was because Judge Roberts didn't want to be known as the white Supreme Court justice who eliminated the only black president's prize bill, which was Obamacare.
Could be.
Because it would have made him look racist. What a coward.
Yeah, that's why they didn't impeach Obama either. They totally could have and should have impeached him on multiple things, Fast and Furious and all kinds of things.
Well, that wasn't on Roberts.
No, I know, but in general, I'm talking about the white guilt was why Obama was even elected and allowed to stay in office and then even reelected.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. If they don't pass the SAVE Act, that's, they're trying to get through, we're going to have rigged elections forever. They're just going to continue to rig them all because they know there's no way to stop them. This is what they do in third world countries.
I'm endorsing your opinion, not just because of like what the liberals would acknowledge as cheating, but because of the immigration thing and all kinds of stuff. Like they've allowed it to go crazy. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But the problem is the reason MAGA is divided now is over Israel. Trump did say, and I don't hate Trump, and I'm with him on certain subjects, but I will not support ever again any politician who says they support the bandit criminal state of Israel. Israel has no right to exist, and I don't care what happens to him either. And they put Christ on the cross. They took every good white man out since Jesus Christ. They took Joe McCarthy out. They took Hitler out. They're taking Trump out. By that, I mean because of his love of these quote-unquote people, he's losing support among his own base. So all the good people in history have been brought down by your favorite chosen people. And I think it's disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful that just to keep your show, you got to show support for the Zionist state.
But you're making up a lot of stuff about my motivation.
Do you support Israel, yes or no?
Yeah.
Do you support Israel?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Question answered. Okay.
I like one thing that you said, because there is this saying about Israel has a right to exist, and I think that's kind of like saying water is a human right, or a living wage is a basic right. These are communist notions. The only way that Israel is able to keep its right to exist is they have to fight for their right to exist, basically.
Well,
they have to be able to keep their country. And just like America has to work to keep our country. Now, we're losing our country. America doesn't have a right to exist. Otherwise, everybody would accept it. But not everybody's. They're transforming America and killing America. So I agree with you about there's no right to exist.
I agree, but let the Jews fight their own wars. We fought for them in World War II, and how many of our people died fighting for the Christ killers? Now they want us to fight for these demons again in Israel? You've got to be kidding, man. Any real Christian would not support
Let me
Israel.
ask what happened between now and like a week ago or whenever, when you said, Trump is quote unquote controlled by Israel or Jews or whatever.
Well, you
but I
finally
support
admit it.
but I support him
Thank you.
anyway. What changed? Why did you switch on him?
When I heard you and Zenny talking yesterday, that pushed me over the thing. You had no arguments to support Israel. Zero.
But I
It's
wasn't
all based
supporting
on
Israel.
emotion and religious dogma. Pardon?
But I wasn't supporting Israel yesterday.
Bull crap. You were supporting it. You even said before Trump ever came to office and attacked Iran, you were a Jew lover. Now, you may not have used those words.
But what's wrong with? Aren't you supposed to love the Jews too? You're supposed to love everybody.
Not at all. No. Well, you could say that.
Yeah.
If you want to play pacifist, which
It's
you
not
are
just
a pacifist. No, that's pacifism.
Pacifism
They put our
means you're
Lord
against
on the
war.
cross.
Pacifism
There's a
means you're
price to
against
pay.
war. I think
me?
you're the pacifist. You don't want war with Iran, right? Or not?
No, I would go to war with Israel in a heartbeat.
So that's
I
not.
wouldn't go to war with the Germans if I had lived in World War II.
Why are you calling me a
I would be
pacifist?
conscientious
Oh,
objector.
well, I don't care.
Pardon me?
Call me whatever you want. Blah blah
Well,
blah.
I mean, what do you call it?
You don't even know what I mean by I support Israel. You just put in all kinds of things like, oh, they're chosen. I don't even agree with that notion.
Well, then you're disagreeing with your own Christian Zionism.
No,
Because basically, you're
I'm not.
Zionist
I'm not even
Christian.
necessarily really a Christian Zionist.
Well, I would take issue with that. You're singing off the same sheet as Mike Huckabee.
Oh
Mike
no.
Huckabee is, huh?
Oh, nothing. I just power went
No,
out.
I would suggest that you listen to the Joe Kent
Stream
Tucker
okay?
Carlson interview. Hello?
No, I'm fine. I'm just hoping. That
No,
this
I would
thing's-
suggest. Oh, and you should listen to Nick Fuentes' latest speech. He laid it on the line, and I'll make it brief. But he did say that Trump, when he hired Joe Kent, he called him a professional, the best he could find. He said, and then suddenly Trump says he's weak on security. So is Trump at fault by not judging him right, or did the Jews get to Trump and tell him that he's a Nazi and fire him?
I don't
wanna
think
say
that.
it's the
Okay,
second one.
so Joe Kent. Are you familiar with Joe Kent betraying Nick Fuentes?
No.
You're not aware of that?
No, I know Fuentes supports him. He did yesterday.
He
on
did
his show.
yesterday, but he pulled his support for Joe Kent a few years ago when Joe Kent disavowed Nick Fuentes and the Groypers.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I
But
do.
I agree. Okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah,
We
and
all
so
have
Joe Kent,
disagreements.
he not only turned on our future president, he turned on our greatest president. And
No, he
so
turned
Joe
on the
Kent is
Jews.
not a reliable person. He's not a man
No,
of.
you're not
he's-
a reliable person.
That's not the question, though. The question is about Joe Kent. I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that I'm reliable or not, but I'm telling you, Joe Kent is not a reliable person.
Well, I disagree. Trump's the one that hired him with all kinds of accolades.
I'll tell you
saying
what.
he's the best he
Do you
can
know
find.
who was behind his hiring?
Was it Tulsi Gabbard?
I believe it was. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, and so
I mean-
like this guy, it's not like Trump really knew him. It was basically he was allowing Tulsi to work with someone whom she knew and trusted and liked.
Well, why did he praise him? Trump praised Joe Kent as an expert in his field. He knew what he was doing. He's a battlefield veteran. You know Kent's background.
Because those things are all probably true, but so people turn and people's character is unreliable.
He saw the light. He saw what the Jews were doing.
But,
Okay, he had an
fine,
awakening.
but that is
What
that a
did he
reason?
do?
Is that a reason to resign and not even like is that a reason to be of no influence in the administration? You just throw away your influence.
No, President Trump would not have listened.
What
to Joe
I
Kent.
heard, by the way, is that Joe Kent was already, before he resigned, he was already being investigated as a leaker.
Well, that's okay. They do that to all the quote unquote anti-Semites. They're investigating
This is
Tucker
before.
Carlson.
This is before he came out as in so-called quote unquote anti-Semite. He was already being investigated as a leaker.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
if he's a leaker, throw him in jail. But has it been proven?
It has
he
not been proven.
convicted?
Yeah.
Okay,
Neither
why
has
even bring
anything.
it up?
Neither has anything that you're claiming. I'm just giving you more of the story so that you don't assume that he came out in favor of your side, the sort of anti-Israel side, out of his pure heart. A lot of people go anti-Israel for selfish gain. You know this. You're a grown man.
No, the people that are getting gains by supporting Israel are the people that took the money.
No. I know that, but we're talking about there are people who come out against Israel for selfish gain. The selfish gain is not only on the pro-Israel side; it's also on the anti-Israel side. There's a whole lot of There's a whole lot of.
Give me an example, please.
Candace
Because I
Owens.
want to take some of that money.
Candace Owens.
I'll go on the other side to take their money.
Yeah, I'll take money too. But anyway, yeah, people
Now,
are. Yeah, just go ahead.
I just want to say that once the Jews control the Middle East, they're going to control everything because everybody needs oil, and the Jews are going to be running things.
Israel will.
Okay. I mean, yeah, well, Israel, same thing. The Jews.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, and I make a prediction right now. Mark my words. If the Jews win this thing in Iran, which it looks like they will, who is their next target? Their next target are going to be people they consider, like Dershowitz, to be Nazis and anti-Semites. They're going to go after Tucker Carlson. They're going to go after Megyn Kelly. They're going to go after Candace Owens. They're going to go after all these people that you don't like.
No, I like a lot of those people. In
fully.
fact, I kind of like that gal. I just don't trust her or think that she's anybody to listen to.
Okay, put it this way. Let's narrow it down. All those names I just mentioned, plus Nick Fuentes. Do you agree with any of those names on Israel? Even one?
I agree with Nick about Israel.
Oh, okay. So you want us to pull out of Iran and let Israel fight their own battle?
Eventually, when the time comes, yeah.
No, but in the meantime, Pete Hegseth asked for $200 billion to continue this war. That was on the news yesterday.
Yeah.
$200 billion, while Social Security is faltering, while we need the money to fight black crime and enforce immigration law, we're spending it on a Jew war.
You know,
furthermore,
man, I've heard positive things. Trump, as you know, is an outside of the box thinker. I heard that they're starting this thing called Deal Team 6. And so they're going to get the best deals from these defense contractors they've had no competition hardly with each other. They've been raising prices and their stuff is not very lethal anymore. So they're going to make great deals and make better stuff and we're going to get it on the cheap. And so Trump is bringing responsibility and cutting fraud and waste out of the government, I think. So even this war is going to be pretty cheap, hopefully.
I don't see many Somalis going to jail. I don't see Waltz in jail. I don't see Fry or Omar being deported. All I hear is a bunch of talk.
Yeah.
That's all I hear is a bunch of talk.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Well, Trump won on the immigration issue. Suddenly he seems to have dropped that. I mean, I'm not saying he has, but there's not that much. I don't hear him saying too much about it. And according to Zenny, who's never lied, Zenny's never lied about anything. He's saying that Trump's advocating for a mass amnesty. I don't know if that's true, but if it is, he's as bad as Obama.
No, Zenny is interpreting. Let me explain the mass amnesty thing. When he said I think the administration said that they're backing off from the term mass deportation. Okay, and they're talking talk about removing the worst, removing the criminal aliens, which is something that everybody supports. If you talk like that, then you'll have more leeway with the public because the public support kind of matters, and these judges and all that, it kind of matters. And so, but Zenny is interpreting that to mean, oh, we're not going and seeking out these people and grabbing them on the streets. So Zenny thinks that effectively that means that they're allowed to stay, and that's effectively amnesty. And so you're taking a rumor and a gossip and rumor from Zenny, who is not actually a reliable source, and running with it and starting a rumor about mass amnesty, which has no basis in really reality.
No, well, if you break it down, if Trump doesn't deport the average illegal, I'm not talking about the one that's committed more crimes,
Right?
Because crossing the border is a crime,
Or
which
staying
makes them
illegally is a
criminal
crime.
anyway.
Yep.
If they're not going to go after those scumbags, then who is?
But
They're
but
gonna
there's
just
no
stay here
indication that
forever.
there's no indication that they're not going after them. They just have to get off. They just have to back off from doing this stuff on the streets, which is because Antifa is so out of control, and the Antifa type people are that you have to keep peace on the streets. You can't have this
So we
war.
have to make a deal with Antifa. We won't enforce immigration if you don't kill our ICE officers. I'd wipe every one of Antifa out.
The Democrat
They go to
Party,
jail.
Mark, you may not be aware of this, but the Democrat Party and the mainstream media, they are Antifa.
No, I
so
know
you
that.
have to work with Antifa, basically.
No, I don't.
You
like
don't
the way
have
Hitler
to.
handled
You
it.
don't have to, but Trump is the president, and he has to work with the people in this country.
Well, he
And
declared
unfortunately,
them a terrorist group.
these judges are Antifa.
I agree.
So then you
I'm
have to
not
deal
arguing
with
that.
Antifa. You have to work with and make a deal with Antifa in that sense.
You'd
You
have
have
to
no-
kill me first.
Say again?
No, you'd have to kill me before I'd make a deal with those demons.
I know,
No,
but
they're
Trump
Antifa is of
wants
the
to
devil.
live. He wants to live and make the country better, not just throw his life away like you want to throw your life away out of anger.
You don't want to compromise with Satan's children.
Unfortunately, you have to.
Well, I don't.
You don't have
Hitler
to,
didn't either.
but if you
In
want to run a
World War
country,
II,
you have to.
In Nazi Germany, where Antifa started, Hitler entirely wiped them out.
I know, but look at
Okay.
Nazi Germany now.
No, they're full of garbage because the Nazis lost.
I know, and that's
the country
part
full
of
of garbage.
And part of the reason they lost so hard is they cast themselves in a way that they were allowed to be portrayed as going overboard rather than being smart, like Trump is being smart, not going overboard and being reasonable, so that they are seen as the bad guys, not Trump.
Nobody's going to look at Antifa as the good guys.
That's what you think. That's what the whole media
there are
does.
people- those scumbags and the left wing, but those are the enemies anyway. But I agree. I will say this. Hitler was right, man. He knew they were evil, and he wiped them out. You can't make deals with Satan's children. Antifa represents Satan on earth. If he wiped every one of them out and opened the gas chambers to do it, I would be there working to do it. I would help him. I would be opening the door to let these demons in so they can meet Satan, their father.
Nice.
I'd wipe out Antifa tomorrow.
Well,
they
I
wouldn't
disclaim.
have a chance, man.
I appreciate it, Mark.
All right.
Take care, sir.
God bless.
You as well. Oh, he got me with the click. Jeff, Louisiana, who is on the line over here, I believe. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man.
Hey.
So, I didn't want to call in and talk about Mark, but he supports Joe Kent. Now he don't support Trump.
Yeah.
In 2020, Joe Kent voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary.
In 2020, Joe Kent voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary?
Yes. And Joe Kent didn't switch to be a Republican until 2021. He was a Democrat until 2021.
Wow. You know what? He is sort of a Pacific Northwest type of a guy. Washington State. He looks like he might be a liberal. I don't know. I don't know if your reporting is true, sir, but I wouldn't be surprised. Somehow it sounds like it's true, but I don't know.
Yes, I just read it on search off of Google.
Joe Kent was for going into Iran back in 2020. I heard.
Yes, that's when he was still a Democrat.
Yeah.
So, man, I don't see how you don't support Trump, but you claim to be conservative, Republican, all this stuff, but you support Joe Kent, but don't support Trump now.
Yeah. So he voted for Bernie. You're saying that he voted. Let me ask Google AI. Yes, he admitted to voting for Bernie Sanders in 2020. This is not 2016, where he called it a tactical move rather than a shift in his own core political environment. I mean, at the time, he already working for Trump's campaign, so he registered as a Democrat to vote for the candidate he believed was the least favorable. Oh, okay, so he claims that he was supporting Trump, but he voted for Bernie just to kind of be a poison the well among the Democrat things, I guess.
That's what he claims. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Let me ask, what was the other thing that you said about him?
He didn't switch to being a Republican until 2021.
Okay. People do change. I don't want to, like, totally take it away from him. It might be fake, but it might be real. Was he supportive of going to war with Iran in 2020? Let me ask. Let's see if the AI knows. Because I thought he posted a tweet. In 2020, his stance is characterized by a preference for aggressive targeted strikes over full-scale ground wars. Following the January 2020 U.S. strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, he posted on X urging the administration to wipe out Israel's ballistic capability. Interesting. Well.
Okay, man. My last comment, I know you got calls to get to.
Yep.
Your guys in Canada, I don't know if, I think it's Jenny, the one I hear going on your show and everybody, anchor Nick's show and everything, talking about Trump and Iran, all this stuff. Why don't they just swear out their own president up there or whatever their leader is?
Because America has a major effect on the world, and it's okay. I have two reasons for you. One is a real reason. The other one is a egotistical reason. The number one reason, which is a real reason, but it's all ego really, is that America has such an influence on the rest of the world. What happens to America affects Canada and everything, sort of. But the second reason, sir, is that they want to get in on the conversation. Everybody's talking about this. And when everybody's talking about something and all the people whom they follow are talking about it and they're all excited and they're into it themselves, it's a pastime. It's an egotistical excitement. I think that's why.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just saying the big thing I'm taking out of saying is they want to badmouth everything that Trump's doing and everything the U.S. does because technically they are part of NATO and are part of the policy and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but if we were to stop tomorrow and tell Canada we're not going to defend you, we're not going to take care of, where the border cuts off, we're not going to defend, we're not going to defend the whole continent of North America. We're just going to defend the USA.
Yeah.
Let them go about it by themselves. Go with NATO, go with all that stuff. Let them do it by themselves and see how long it lasts. Because I believe they lost, the longest conflict I know they've been involved in is the Afghanistan deal, and that was, I think it was in it for 10 years or more. They lost 100-something soldiers.
Wow.
In that whole mess.
Yeah.
So they're not as involved in it as they think they are. They're just involved in to get their, the least they can do to be part of NATO and part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's all I have for it, man. I'll let you go.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Okay, have a good one.
You too. Bye. I hung up on him a little quick because I didn't want the click. Let me get to Terry in Oregon on the line over here. Terry, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Hake?
I'm well as well. Thank you.
All's well. So I called in today about some more local mess going on. We have a new intersectional train wreck in Portland happening.
Okay.
This is regarding the street that was named after Cesar Chavez, probably like between 10 to 15 years ago. I'm not sure. But it was a big controversy when they had to rename it because it cost a bunch of money and all these businesses and people were put out having to like change their signage, change their address, like,
Wow, what a mess.
you know, it was annoying. And it's a really long street. It runs through a really big part of the city.
Okay.
So it affected a lot of people. But the city paid for it. They, you know, they got it changed. But now it's come out that Cesar Chavez had some sex abuse scandals.
Right.
Now, I haven't looked into this. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But now we got people in city council wanting to rename the city street again.
That's so funny. That's crazy. What a mess.
So I thought that was great. I thought it was like awesome. And now they're wanting to rename it to like Dolores Huerta.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know. Which would be great for like Women's History Month, you know, just be like amazing.
Yeah.
Well, who knows what she's been involved in.
Right. She had sex with him, according to her. And then later she called it abuse.
Ew.
She was like 29, 30 years old. And he was in his 30s.
Call it abuse?
What's that?
Why was it abuse?
Because
He didn't call her back?
She admired him or something like that. I don't know. He was a leader. He was a leader, and she couldn't say no or something. And then, and she held on to it. She held on to it and stayed quiet because she wanted to. Because Dolores Huerta, she was a fellow. I don't know if you want to call him communist, maybe not, but union person. Farm workers union against illegal aliens because illegal aliens were used to be scabs, basically, right? Undermine the American workers. Although these are Hispanic Americans. Anyway, but Cesar Chavez, groomed and sexually abused young girls and women, meaning teenagers, right? Underage, but they're teenagers. And I asked, and this was back in the 60s, okay? And she claimed that he sexually assaulted. She's 95 years old or something like that. And she posted on her IG when this New York Slimes expose came out. On Wednesday, March 18th, the New York Times published a multi-year investigation alleging Cesar Chavez groomed and sexually abused young girls and women, while Dolores Huerta said he sexually assaulted her in the 1960s. The foundation, Cesar Chavez Foundation, said they work with the United Farm Workers to create confidential channels for harm reporting and support. In an Instagram post, Dolores Huerta said she was manipulated and forced against her will in the 1960s. And I looked her up. She was born in like 1930. So she was like 29, 30, 31, 38, 39, something like that, resulting in pregnancies that she later arranged for others to raise. And she explained, I believed that exposing the truth would hurt the farm worker movement, the union movement, I have spent my entire life fighting for. Several communities canceled Cesar Chavez Day events, including Duarte officials, calling off the March 21st service, whatever. LA County Supervisor Hilda Solis plans motions to rename the holiday and remove imagery. The Cesar Chavez Foundation, and there's no proof of any of this, I don't think. Cesar Chavez pledged unequivocal support for victims and with the Chavez's family and backing. It will work to what's funny is they will work to redefine their identity going forward while elected officials call for a full, transparent investigation. This is sort of funny because he was like a handsome guy, kind of, right? I suppose.
Yeah, for a Mexican guy, yeah.
Yeah, right. And was he Mexican-American?
Something like that.
And he was sort of, he's like a leader type of a person. And that gets as attractive. And I asked, you're going to hate me for this. Maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. Was it normal for older men to date and marry teens in the 60s? Because times have really changed. People's mindset, yes, it was generally more acceptable and common for older men to marry teenage girls in the 1960s compared to today.
Especially in like the Chicano community.
Right. Yep.
It's very common.
Yeah. So they're judging him based on, it reminds me of slavery. They're judging him based on like today's so-called standards, and women change their mind. And granted, in many cases, women and girls will flirt and even want to do stuff, but then the men will go further than the women want, and the young girls may want. So I don't know. I'm not saying that he's guilty or innocent, but I believe in innocence unless proven guilty. And I know that there's a major attack on men. And so it's funny that these Me Too type people, including 95-year-old Dolores Huerta, and she was okay looking. Anyway, whatever. But it's mess. That's crazy. There she is.
It's gonna cost so much money.
Yeah.
Stupid street that we never should have renamed in the first place. It
True.
already had a name.
Good point. Yeah.
And to what? To virtue signal? Did he ever come here? Why are we naming a street after him?
Good question.
There's people that lived here that we could name a street after. Anyway, I don't know what to make of all this. I didn't even know about that. So she had kids by him that she put up for adoption?
Yeah, that she kind of gave to other people, according to him. Her, I don't know.
Where are these kids? I mean, my God, can you imagine? Those are your parents? They have to be out there doing some crazy mess.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Cesar Chavez had I don't know how many kids. He had a decent amount of children, and he had a wife already. I was looking. He had 12 children according to this, and then this. But this thing is quoting the New York Times article from just the other day. Civil rights icon accused of abusing girls for years. Accusations are not evidence, by the way. But New York Slimes, it's so communist to have a hero and then tear down the hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting how people will get put on a pedestal just to get knocked down.
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous place to be, honestly. And anybody's sins can get uncovered, and I mean, I don't know what he did, and
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was involved in some mess and taking advantage of people and breaking hearts and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's not a nice way to live. So.
Right. But in a way, do you agree with me that in a way, if there's any truth to any of this sleeping around stuff that he may have done, or abuse, if you want to use the term, he was a slave to his passions, and he was a sort of a slave to these gals, It was
they
sort of
took
mutual.
Advantage of him.
Right. I'm glad you see it my way.
No, I don't see it that way. I don't know. I don't know about the situation. I haven't looked into it at all. How can I have an opinion?
This is kind of how I see Jeffrey Epstein. Is he was sort of a weak personality. I mean, he was a strong personality, but he was also sort of weak with these gals. He wasn't pushy, from what I heard. Latinos for Obama. Wow. Si se puede, they say.
I don't know. I don't know about Jeffrey Epstein either.
Right. I don't either, but just the impression that I got from...
I think men that, especially past a certain age, that are looking to hook up with teenagers are, gross.
Right.
Because there's just a mental difference between the two that's so vast. It's kind of what's going on here. It's clearly predatory, but so I don't know about Jeffrey Epstein. I don't really know everything he's accused of, and and I think a lot of it has to do with blackmail anyway. So whatever. And I don't want to know because it's upsetting.
Yeah, it's gross.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to fall down another one of those rabbit holes where I'm paranoid about what the elites are up to.
Yeah. I was when I looked this thing up about was it normal back in the 60s to get with teen girls? I came across this Reddit post about Jimmy Page. Are you familiar with Jimmy Page?
Yeah.
He's the guy from Led Zeppelin who allegedly, I mean, he was sort of with that 13-year-old groupie girl.
Yeah. She got passed around a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and she claimed that, I credit Jimmy Page with never like responding to this stuff, like, because it's just leave it in the past. I say, whatever happened, but he's 82 now. But this girl who was supposedly with him, and maybe it was true, but she claimed that she was with a couple of other guys who were like rock stars, and yeah, she got passed around, but she was kind of because she wanted to be kind of, you know, like she was, it reminds me of what those girls did to, what's his name? R. Kelly. Right?
Oh, Lord.
Isn't it kind of true? Because these girls, they may be more developed.
All these
Well, she was skinny.
young girls taking advantage of these weak older men. It's sick.
I really think that it's mutual predation. They're both predators. I grant you that they're younger and they don't know what they're doing and they're evil, but these guys are older and they don't know what they're doing either.
I don't think they don't know what they're doing. I just think they're stupid.
Yeah,
and they,
but so are the guys.
Self-preservation. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, or like, I don't know. I mean, and if they'd been raised right, they wouldn't be in that situation to begin with. So they clearly been failed by their parents.
Yeah.
Like, because nobody who cares about their daughter is going to have their daughter out acting like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Groupies. I shake my head.
Yeah. It's
well,
nasty.
Yeah. No judgment on groupies or guys who get with groupies. Although it's wrong, it's sick.
But...
And yeah. Well, I'm glad I made you laugh, Terry.
Yeah, that's funny, Hake.
What these girls
I never thought that, like, yeah, all these girls were really just taking advantage of all these older, weak men. Preying on them. Sick. Sick.
It makes you look at it kind of a little bit differently, though, as people really, although people are really evil, they can't help themselves.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's true.
I mean, they should be held accountable if they did commit these evil crimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that they can't help themselves. Let's let them slide.
I'm gonna have to look into this Dolores Huerta thing and see what
she actually was pretty. I saw her in '65. I mean, this picture of her from '65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not that has anything to do with it, but
right?
I mean,
true.
But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, why she would. She's like, she kept her silence for now for the good of the movement, and now that it's safe to say something, she is. That's really weak. That's really weak.
Who knows? Like, I don't know what her mindset is. She's like
especially
in her 90s.
Like, she's well known. Like, if he was preying on all these women and she like actually has a voice and is respected, and he was like a bad guy, she should have like spoke up and been like, you know what? Yeah, he is a bad guy.
That's funny.
But instead, she let all these women who nobody's going to take seriously, you know, get whatevered. And she's going to just sit silently by and bide, you know, in her pain. Like, no, you're somebody who, like, people would actually listen to.
That is such an interesting point.
All these other women have come forward, all these anonymous women that nobody knows have come forward. She's like, oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, you know, Terry, you raise a really interesting point. Because I read her post on Instagram, okay? And let's see. Yeah, she's 95 years old. Okay. Born on April 10th. If you go to her Instagram, she had this, she put this post here. Today, civil rights leader Dolores Huerta issued, March 18th, the following statement. I'm nearly 96 years old. For the last 60 years, have kept a secret because I believe that exposing the truth would hurt, blah, blah, blah. I have encouraged people to always use their voice. Following the New York Times multi-year investigation into the sexual misconduct by Cesar Chavez, allegedly, I can no longer stay silent and must share my own experiences. As a young mother in the 60s, I experienced 2 separate sexual encounters with Cesar, blah, blah, blah. So gross. But anyway, I didn't feel I could say no because he was someone I admired, my boss and the leader of the movement. I had already devoted years of my life. The second time I was forced against my will and in the environment where I felt trapped. I had experienced abuse and sexual violence before that, she says, and I convinced myself these were incidents I had to endure alone and in secret. Both encounters with Cesar, she says sexual, led to pregnancies. That's potent. I chose to keep my pregnancies secret, and after the children were born, arranged to have them raised by others. Oh, the full statement. In the full statement, I'm going to say pretends, but she says that that she found out that once she found out that there were others. This is a Medium article, okay? Hold on. When I found out, something about she found out that there were other victims, and then she decided to speak out. Like, she's acting like she didn't know. The knowledge that he hurt young girls sickened me, okay? I am telling my story because the New York Times has indicated that I was not the only one. There were others. So she's acting TERRI, and I don't know if you believe her, TERRI, that she thought she was the only one.
If she's claiming that he R-worded her, guys who R-word tend to be likely to do it more than once. If he's going to R-word you, I would assume that he's going to R-word anyone. That's why women warn each other about guys that are
That's just common sense in human nature, because you cross that line, you'll cross that line again.
Yeah, that's if it's especially to someone like her, a grown woman in her 30s. If he's going to do it to you, why wouldn't he do it to someone else?
Allegedly.
I would assume he would.
Right. And this is all according to her. If you believe
interact
her.
with all women, I'd be suspicious. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whatever. I think she just wants a little attention.
I'm not
discounting if she got knocked out by him. Maybe she did, but I want to see the kids. What do they look like? What are they up to? Or are they in Antifa right now?
Yeah. Well, her kids could be in their 70s and stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, they'd be old. That doesn't mean they're not in Antifa, though.
I know. But, this could be totally about protecting her own self and legacy from scrutiny. Mm-hmm. Because who knows if anything she says is true.
I know.
All playing innocent like she didn't know. Oh, I had no idea there were others. or playing like she was a victim too, and she knew there was something going on and nothing happened, and it was all consensual, and who knows what. But I don't know, don't really care, but that's the human nature evil mess of it.
So it's so long after he's been gone. What evidence did they really produce?
Yeah, just slander and slime a man after he's gone. How evil.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
He's not around to defend himself. You can't get his side of the story. And
right.
with stories like this, rape and stuff, that's so hard to prove, and it's impossible to disprove. People just run with it. It's crazy.
Anyway, well, yeah. Now we're gonna get our tax money, and I don't know. I'm sure there's Cesar Chavez boulevards all over the country that are gonna get changed, and waste of taxpayer money on this crap.
Yeah.
So that people can virtue signal and act like, oh yeah, look how progressive our town is.
Mess.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for taking my call, Hake.
Yeah, thank you for the news. I hadn't really considered that about the street signs. And that's crazy that it was just as recently as just 10-ish years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was sometime, I don't know, time is hard to keep track of anymore in my mind, but it was recently, 10 to 15 years, pretty sure.
Or 20 or 30, but still, that's recent.
No, not that long. Not that long.
You're not as old as me.
Less than 20, more than 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, Hake.
You as well, Mrs. TERRI.
Bye.
Take care. Hayden, Texas. Before I get to y'all, the rest of y'all's super chats, how you doing, Hayden? Thank you for calling.
Hey, how's it going, Hake?
Going well, sir.
Good. Happy Friday.
And to you.
Thank you. Do you usually get a break on weekends?
Yeah,
Personally?
on Saturdays I usually get the day off, and then Sundays I do like a half day, like yeah, it's different because it's church, so it's cool.
Right. Yeah, you got church on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I was gonna call in on Monday, but you're good callers. I mean, they didn't miss anything. Everything they said was spot on. Your show Monday was amazing.
Nice.
I was gonna call in. I wasn't able to call in the rest of the days in the week, but I just wanted to tell you that your Monday show was amazing. So
right on. I remember there being some good shows, and it might have been Monday. So right on. I think I agree with you.
Right. I am glad that this whole Shroud of Turin thing is going away. I agree with your good callers that it was a ridiculous argument from the beginning. You know, to racialize Jesus, or even attempt to racialize Jesus.
Yeah, true.
I think it's just wrong. And
I agree with that.
Of course, your bad faith callers have an agenda to try to portray him as a something he's not, a black Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do want to add this. This was not said on Monday's show, and I thought it would be worth bringing up. The Shroud of Turin. I guess they were Bible thumpers, and they thought that the Shroud of Turin was like 100 years old, maybe 200 years old. But it was eventually verified that it was thousands of years ago, and it dated back to around when Jesus was here on Earth. And that's been verified about a year or two ago. I watched your one of your competitors talking about it, and it was about a year or two ago. And they had said it was verified that it dated back to Jesus' time here on Earth.
I thought that they had dated it. Well, some people had dated it to like the 1300s or something like that, several hundred years ago. Like, and one thing that, and I don't know, you may be right. What I'm saying may be right. I heard from Alan in Michigan who said that it was not a fake, but that it was a fabrication, which sounded, I forgot to ask him about what he meant by that, whether it was like something made sort of artistically to help people imagine what it would have been like, not meant to trick people, but as a kind of a work of art of devotion, maybe. I'm just completely speculating, making that part up, but I don't really have a dog in the fight on that issue, or I don't think that it. I honestly don't think that relics should really matter. They're cool, and they should be preserved, and especially now that it's been in existence for at least hundreds of years, if not thousands, that it should be preserved, but it shouldn't be like worshipped or held in undue regard or fought over.
Oh, exactly right. I mean, yeah, you're 100% correct on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we should. I agree with you on this. I always, and I always have and still do, vision Jesus as a spirit. I don't. But my goal isn't to racialize, who Jesus was or what Jesus was or whatever. I see Jesus as a spirit too, just like you do.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway.
It's Friday.
I don't think that's why. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not why. Oh, I was going to give a little bit of credit to Mark's point that Christianity is sort of like a white man's religion, because
Right.
whites were the ones who spread it. Whites are the ones
Yep.
who, partly because of their inclination towards good civilization and high trust society, Christianity
Yep.
just works well with that. And so, for whatever reason, whites really embraced probably the least worst version of Christianity, if you will. I don't know if that's fair to
Yep.
say. Because Christianity is so misapplied across the board by probably every single human being on Earth. You know,
Right.
you probably, I don't know if you ever noticed in your family either hypocrisy or judgment or not really living as true Christians, even if they were pretty good overall, type of thing. So, and if you're not perfect, you're no good. So that's my thing about Christianity and white man's religion.
I agree.
Yeah.
But Christianity is what made our white country successful over the years, and as you've seen, like Christianity under attack in most recent years. That's why our countries haven't been as good as they were in the past. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's an attack on everything that makes a country great. Is
right.
Freedom of speech, the real freedom of speech, freedom to tell the truth.
Yep.
Christianity, white people, men.
Yep.
And all that stuff. And I suspect that that these are all sort of temptations to identify with these things the way that they identify with their color, their gender. Women identify with being a woman. Blacks and others identify with being black or Chinese or Hispanic or Mexican. Not Hispanic, but Mexican or whatever. All these people identify with their stuff to the point where they forget God. They forget what's right. And they will bend the rules and they'll lose their religion in defense of their false identity. The gays will do that. By lose their religion, I mean they'll get ticked off. I almost said a different word.
The P word.
Yeah. And that's what losing your religion means from the South. And I love that because they are losing their religion over nonsense, false identities.
Yes.
And they're trying to get us to lose our religion too. And that's a trap.
Right. Were you gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanted to add one thing, and then it's another thing, but it's going to lead to something else that I've heard on your show. They've conducted like these 3D images of the Shroud of Turin and what the man in the shroud would look like if we saw him physically, whatever. And it does depict. You said Christianity is a white man's religion. It depicts a white-looking person.
Yeah.
And I hope this statement that I'm going to make, just completely drops the subject. Because your non-white callers have asked people if they would worship and bow to a black Jesus, which is crazy. It's insanity.
Yeah.
But my response is I always have and I always will worship the man depicted in the Shroud of Turin. That's my answer. And
interesting.
Hopefully that drops the argument.
Fair enough, Hayden. I appreciate it, sir. I got to run. I got to rush off because I have all these super chats and I have one more little quick call to get to. Good talking with you.
I'll call you back on Monday. No worries, Jake.
Sounds good, sir. Take care.
All right, have a good day.
You as well. Kentucky John on the line here. John in Kentucky. How you doing, sir?
Man, I wanted to talk to Hayden, man.
Oh, sorry. I didn't pick up on that, but go ahead.
Well, Hayden, the subject is not dropped. I'll drop it for you, okay? Whether you believe Christ could ever be a black man is irrelevant. What's important for me, for you to know, is that he's not white, okay? He is a POC. a person of color. He is not European at all. So we can drop that right there. Are we good with that, Hake?
Yes, sir.
Drop it right there? Okay.
Yep.
I wanted to ask him, how does he feel about Mark, denouncing Trump, man? Like, he don't support Trump as far as politics go right now.
I'll have to hear from him Monday if we make it to Monday.
I'm surprised you didn't ask him that.
I know. It did cross my mind, but I lost the thought, partly because I'm coming to the end of the show and I have all these super chats to read. So that's
how you know the world is ending, when Mark says he doesn't support Trump anymore. That's how you know the world's ending.
Mark is quick to judge, so I think he's quick to quit. Like he's turned on me many times, and he's come back to me. So he may come back to Trump.
I wouldn't say quick, because he's been supporting Trump through this whole thing, and
that's true.
He would be,
It's interesting that I convinced him by my conversation with Zenny to turn on Trump. That's terrible.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, he said after hearing my conversation with Zenny yesterday, he's no longer supporting Trump. Terrible.
I think it's because of the Jews, man. Everybody is clear to see. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you, Hake.
Okay.
You know how he asked you, did you take the $7,000?
Right.
I wouldn't ask you that. I would just ask you, do you work for Israel directly or indirectly? Do you work for Israel?
Oh, okay. Interesting question. Thank you, sir.
Indirectly?
Oh,
maybe?
I don't disclose.
Yeah, so that's what it is. Because look, you have so much criticism for women and blacks and gays.
Right.
And you call that criticism love. You say that's showing us love. But you have no criticism for the Jews. It's all positive, and that you love them.
Okay.
And that you're always going to support them, and that you put them on the same level, if not higher, than America. So that's why I say, yeah, you indirectly work for the Jews.
Nice. Thank you,
that's
John.
Crazy,
I got to run,
crazy.
sir. We'll talk again, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Have a good weekend. All right, y'all. Cesar or Caesar, these are super chats, y'all. I'm going to have to read these supers. And I'm not going to do any timestamps, okay? So, Cesar or Caesar, sup, Hake, forgot to find time to send this coffee Thursday. But then again, I was working all day with the Starlink. Regarding my question of the ethnicity race of the majority of homeless in California, my friend and I both thought the majority of homeless were black and white Americans. You also thought the same. My question to you now is, do you believe the bogus speech from the AI saying the majority of homeless in Cali are Hispanics? Triple question mark. Bogus speech, BS. Bogus speech. But don't say BS, kids. But it's bogus speech. I could believe it, but I just don't see it. Let's kind of leave it as an I don't know, Cesar. Cesar Caesar, sup, Hake? So I heard you mentioning while you were on the JLP show, you hope Larry Silverstein got reimbursed for the attack on the Twin Towers. Well, my friend, unless you were trolling when you said that, let me be laughing with tears. Let me be the one to tell you that he sure did. Sly, side-eye, smile, eye roll emoji type thing. Larry and his partners acquired a 99-year lease valued at $3.2 billion, a down payment of $616 million and made immediately. Wow. Part of the deal, no wonder he was dancing. Part of the deal, I'm kidding, in leasing the towers was for Larry and his partners to remodel the building since it was built using asbestos, really harmful stuff, they say, which would have cost $200 million. After the attack, Silverstein ultimately settled with the insurers in 2007 for a total of $4.55 billion. Yeah, he sure got paid. Laughing with have a safe weekend, peoples. Strong arm, celebration hands, and thanks, praying hands. Dominican emoji. Popcorn. It is often said athletes have no power. If you'll recall, Laura Ingraham told LeBron James to shut up and dribble, meaning bounce the ball. Basketball, that is. I want to challenge the narrative that athletes, quote unquote, have no power. The University of Alabama's football program generates roughly $150 million in revenue every year. Yeah, because people like watching talented athletes do athletic things in an organized fashion. So yes, the NBA generates $10 billion a year in revenue. Black players make up roughly 70% of the NBA. I only have 5 minutes to read these, okay? And then the fallen state's happening after this. The NFL generates $20 billion a year in revenue. Black players make up roughly half the NFL. Beyond the players themselves, marketing teams, physical therapists, financial analysts, sales management, ownership of those teams have the ability to make a living. Isn't that awesome? Send their kids to college, build wealth on the back, so to speak, of those athletes, the product. When players threaten to sit out, get injured, or general rock the boat, panic sets in because people realize that a multi-billion-dollar engine is being rattled. Money isn't everything, but the money has taken care of a lot of families, non-black primarily, and the root of that engine are the players with the talent. They are a significant portion of it. But where would they be without the, and it takes a team in this case. When they start rocking the boat, things get resolved pretty quickly, and that's no accident. The owners of sports franchises, their children and their grandchildren will live an amazing life, physically speaking anyway, due to the sweat of talented professionals who get told they have no power. Great points there, Popcorn. Interesting. At this point, just call me Mike. Fortunately for you, James, I won't be able to call in today, but I'll be back. Robot emoji. See that? Isn't that cute? No, it's cool. Eric, NJF, Nick J. Fuentes, asked last night if he will ever go back to the JLP show. Maybe, I don't know. If I've heard from them, perhaps. And timestamp 4 hours, 44 minutes, 20 seconds on the Rumble episode 1661. And he says, can you give him a call? Red phone emoji. Aw, thank you for the request, sir, Eric. Jeff, rest in peace to that one guy. I had no idea he passed a few months ago. Don't recall you guys mentioning it either. As a big supporter as he was to the show many years, I'm surprised by that. Yeah, Jeff, rest in peace. Chris says, Mark, Kent was under investigation and quit. Joe Kent, that is. He ran to Tucker Carlson lying so he can say that Trump is after him for blowing the whistle. He's a traitor. Just a year ago, he was saying we have to stop Iran. Stop crying. Baby bottle emoji, says Chris. Eric, 5 coffees. Bob Barker and Cesar Chavez got thrown under the Epstein bus this week. Kent, a ninja emoji, stayed dead without a woman tearing down his statue. Attention, a woman's drug of choice and accountability, her kryptonite. Attention is a woman's drug of choice and accountability, her kryptonite. Thank you, Eric, Jeff, Chris, Popcorn, Mike, and all of y'all. Let me refresh. And over here on the YouTube, rest in peace to Chuck Norris, says Jermaine. Those were the coffees, okay? Jermaine says, rest in peace to Chuck Norris. Yes, rest in peace. Marty, happy birthday, Kurt. Best wishes to you, sir. Yeah. He's the producer of Punchy TV. Harmony Arms. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. Taylor L. Fitness. Mark, why don't you start your own talk show and you can run it how you like it? I don't necessarily think he's wrong that I don't run my show right. Brandy says, Mark, you were one of my favorite callers. Sorry you don't like my calls. Horsey, cowboy, I'll do better. Don't say what you will do, Brandy. Little pro tip. But Mark stopped supporting Trump but supports Candy. Crazy face emoji, tongue sticking out, says Everblazer. Yeah, a wise older man once said, don't be too excited for or against anybody just because they say something you agree with. Yeah. So, nice. There have been evil... Oh, wow, how long has this thing been going? Oh, yeah, it's been going forever. There are evil people and very fine people on both sides, on many sides. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yes, I do, tennis shoe. So, y'all, the fallen state's coming up next. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in y'all's hearts. But some of you would reject it. Adios, America. Take care. Oh, the fallen state up next, and then American Anchor Baby. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson Sunday. Take care, y'all.